and so they asked me to moderate somehow, but I have to thank particularly Wieke the Neef, because she just arrived and she just faced a very bad experience in Rome with having Giorada and GPR and other materials stolen from her father today. So she's a hero. She's here and she's a hero. And please, so I will start now asking you something, but the time has come short because we have to go to the Colosseum. And so my questions will be definitely absolutely short. The first one that you suggested me to do you is you are a traditional school of Italian archaeology changing and persisting. You are a Dutch school changing and persisting as well in landscape, affecting in a different way. But how many archaeologists do we have in the Rimini now? How many are there? Please, Wieke, start you.
How many archaeologists? I think there are 1 million archaeologists, because I think every one of us does archaeology in their own way, in their own experience. I think archaeology is it's of course a social science, and I think we bring our own experience into archaeology. In Italy, I don't know. I've been working in Italy for a very long time. I've experienced many archaeological excavations and projects in very different ways, ranging from the very context-driven material studies to very theoretical, abstract kinds of archaeologies. So I think the question is very difficult to answer. I don't know, Paolo, what do you say?
It's such a large issue and so little time to answer. Yes, we know, but it was thinking aloud rather than asking questions. Well, in such a situation, you have to cut some corners. So having said this, I think to make a very complicated story a little bit simpler, we have on the one side scholars who are mainly interested in defending the tradition. There's a good old way of doing archaeology, it doesn't matter where or related to which kind of phase or period. The importance is that the good school has to be, in some sense, defended and preserved. The older is the evidence, the more reliable it is in some sense. It can be turned into something like an ipse dixit, but it happens. It happens still in Italian studies. And on the other hand, you have right the opposite. That is, let's push everything forward. We need updated methods. We need updated techniques. But on the other hand, the result is that the relevance is paid to the documenting procedures and not on questions. So basically, I see these differences in the approaches.
Do you think that the questions are changing then, or?
Well, in some sense, questions have to change because previous questions are related to different cultural frameworks, to past visions, to past concepts. So questions, even if we ask the same questions, which kind of process has shaped Roman Italy? It's always the same questions. But German historian for Prussia had an idea of government which is not totally the same idea of governments that the European or the first part of the 19th century had. It is still different from the idea of managing the public stuff we have today. So I think both.
But you're Wieke. You're making questions. You're not answering.
No, I'm asking because this morning I was doing a radar survey in the Capitoline Museum, and we had this wonderful opportunity by the museum and collaboration with the German Archaeological Institute to do a survey right in the basement of the museum next to the Jupiter Temple. And of course, this was for me. It's the heart of Italy. It's the heart of Rome. It's sort of the most sacred place of archaeology in Italy. And I was wondering, we were surveying with the radar, and for me, it's the method that I use, and of course, it will bring some data. Fortunately, we could export the data before the system was taken from the car this afternoon. I think the data was very good, but it will give new insights. And what I was thinking is I will probably interpret these data differently than you might do so, because I look at geophysical data in a very technical way, perhaps depth of burial of structures being overlaying soil depositions, processes of historical phases in Italy. And this is what I was wondering, if this is the data that I produce, do they answer your questions, or do they maybe make them more complicated?
So here we are. We the relation between the strong interpretation we had in the past and the new data. How can we fit them in?
Mm-hmm.
I will try to answer using an example. It's an example taken from my personal experience. I have been digging in Rome since nearly 40 years now. I'm getting old. And digging on the Palatine, we landed over layers dating back from the beginning of the Iron Age down to the late medieval Rome. And in particular, we have been able to have an idea of which kind of landscape had been piling up on that site in the crucial moment when the Roman thought that Rome had been created. So we had a huge amount of new knowledge. The problem is what that knowledge means in historical terms. So on one side, any elements your georadar will be able to add to the dossier is welcome and needed. But new elements do not necessarily mean that there will be an increase in historical comprehension. I think the divide is should be or can be filled, assuming the possibility of an assessment in between the documentation and the final assumption or theory. If we will be able to present reliable assessment, stating which is our knowledge base and what we think that knowledge base mean. If I'm not wrong, the British units use this term, the secondary archiving, which is not filing up maps and contest sheet, but is in some sense figuring out the meaning of the sequence, the process embedded in the either landscape or a deposit you have been investigating inside. So I think this could be a possible answer to your question.
I think that as the time has come short, I'm sorry with the speakers because we will have to go toward the end. But we are. I think that under the words of Paolo, we have understood very well the Italian perspective and how we work and this necessity to fit them in. But I wanted to come to the other traditional point, which is the landscape perspective of the Dutch school. And so when we speak of landscape with Wieke and also with Paolo as well, the matter is somehow changing because we have less impositions from the data, the former data, and also the perspective maybe of time is changing. What do you think, Wieke, and then Paolo?
Yes, I think the landscape archaeological perspective that I grew up in archaeologically, it sort of integrates, of course, a very long-term idea of the planet and with humans inside it as factors, but interacting with their surroundings and with geologies and landscapes. I think it's the time perspective is different, but also the scale of data. I think we're now at a time in archaeology where we can produce enormous amounts of spatial data on a regional scale, but also much larger, looking at satellite data, but also landscape scale geophysics and other remote sensing techniques. The problem, however, is that the temporary or the chronological detail remains a bit tricky to integrate it with questions of local detail. And I think that is still a point where we need to come to closer together. I think this is where we can integrate better.
The first thing to say on the Italian side is that we are deeply indebted with the Dutch school as for landscapes. There's a number of Dutch friends here in the hall, and it's a concept which is not very accepted by the Italian tradition in archaeology, because Italian way of looking at territories, not landscape, is the heritage of the humanism.
Mm.
So we owe you a lot.
Yeah.
But this is even more important because landscape, much more their more elementary feature, has to be conceived as a process. So it's something deeply related to historical transformations. Having stated this, the remaining part can be technical details. Dating, we will discuss about it. Filing all the information together, recovered by different projects. We can discuss about that as well. Legacy data, come on and so forth. But I think this is the crucial point. We have
not only historical phases, I would say. I think
historical in the sense of process and time.
Yeah, which can be enormous.
Exactly, not historical in the sense of past.
Yeah.
The landscape is not that archaeological as the
it's
other kind of features.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Great. I'm sorry that I have to stop you, but I hope that this dialogue has shown how the motto that we have chosen, the idea of persisting with change and of the persistence of the traditions and also of the changes that the traditions are bringing on, has shown its power. And so please, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Both, and thank you particularly.